Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my Game Week 11 League 2 score predictions versus Jake from the That Football League podcast and the Here for the Lincoln podcast. If you do go on to enjoy today's video, make sure to drop a like on there for me and subscribe to the channel as well if you are new and get your thoughts in down in the comment section down below. Now obviously there was no video for the Game Week 10 League 2 score predictions. I was far too ill to even consider getting a video out, but we are back today for Game Week 11. So if you have a look at how I got on versus Alex Vlogs for Game Week 9, as you can see, I had a pretty solid week. I accumulated the 6 points. Alex accumulated the 3, which is actually the joint worst for the season so far. I got an accurate score right, which I think was the Cheltenham game. Did they play Accrington? At that point, it was Cheltenham. I predicted them to win 2-1, and they did. I got 3 other accurate results. Alex got no accurate scores, but he also did get 3 accurate results. So I'm now on 49 points. The guests are now on 46. Let's see how myself and Lincoln City fan Jake get on this weekend. Now, with it being the international break this week, there is only 10 games for us to go through and predict, but whenever I think it's Fleetwood and Colchester play and then Walsall and Bromley play later on in the season, I'll get the score prediction from Jake and then we can add in our points. As always, you get 3 points for a correct score and 1 point for a correct result. So let's start out with Chesterfield FC versus Notts County. Chesterfield currently sit 12th in the table and have had a little bit of an inconsistent start to the season so far. They've drawn 5 of their opening 10 matches. They've scored 17 goals, but they have also conceded the 10 and they've only won 1 in their last 5. Notts County have had a positive start to the season, but again, they've only got 1 win in their last 4. I don't see there being many goals in this game, so I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw. Let's see what Jake thinks.
Hello mate, thank you very much for having me on your channel to do some Sky Bet League 2 predictions. Now, I must confess, I am not a Sky Bet League 2 expert, with my team being a League 1 side, but nonetheless we are going to get into it. First game is Chesterfield versus Notts County. Chesterfield unbeaten at home, only winning 1 of those. Notts County, the best away record in the division, unbeaten on the road. It sort of seems like it's only going to end up one way. I'm going to go for Chesterfield 1, Notts County 2.
AFC Wimbledon versus Carlisle United. Now, AFC Wimbledon have a bit of catching up to do, to be fair. They've only played the 7 games so far this season. Obviously, they had the last couple at home postponed due to the state of their pitch. They are now without a win in their last 2 matches and obviously haven't played much league football recently. But Carlisle, they're sat down in 22nd, just 1 point above the relegation zone at the moment. They've only won 2 of their opening 10 matches. Their start to life under Mike Williamson hasn't been amazing, but there is certainly positive signs there. I'm going to back Johnny Jackson's side though for a 1-0 home win. Let's see what Jake thinks.
AFC Wimbledon return home to Plough Lane given the issues with their pitch to host Mike Williamson's Carlisle United. I understand you rattled Carlisle once a few times over the last couple of years. I'm going to continue that theme. AFC Wimbledon won all 3 of their home games so far this season. I'm going to let them go 4 for 4. I'm going to go AFC Wimbledon 2, Carlisle United 0.
Barrow AFC versus Morecambe FC. Barrow sat 3rd in the table. Morecambe currently sat rock bottom. We'll start out firstly though with Barrow. They've won 3 of their last 5. They sit in the automatic promotion places at the moment. They're joint top of the table. They've only conceded 7 goals so far this season. Compared to Morecambe, they're already 3 points adrift. They lost a big crunch match against Accrington last weekend. Accrington also, that wasn't English, Accrington also have a game in hand on Morecambe as well. It's looking pretty bleak from them. They've won none of their opening 10. Obviously, they picked up a point against my team, Bradford City, but I see this one being a pretty straightforward 2-0 home win for the Bluebirds. Let's see what Jake thinks.
Barrow hosting Morecambe next, and this is a pretty obvious one in my opinion. Barrow, best home form in the division so far, 13 points from their 5 home games. Morecambe, not quite the worst away record, 23rd in that category. It screams here of a bit of a Barrow battering. I'm going to go Barrow 3, Morecambe 0. The Morecambe misery continues.
Cheltenham Town versus Swindon Town. I don't think this is going to be a big game for the neutral. It's 20th versus 21st. Cheltenham have only got 1 win in their last 5. Swindon have only got 1 win in their last 5, and they've only won 1 of their opening 10 league matches so far this campaign. They have drawn 5. Cheltenham have only drawn the 1. There's been a lot of goals in both of them teams' matches so far this season. There's been 28 goals in the Cheltenham games and 22 goals in the Swindon matches so far. I don't see this one being a very entertaining game. I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw. Let's see what Jake thinks.
Cheltenham against Swindon. Cheltenham have been okay at home. I think they've got a couple of lucky, rather fortunate wins at Whaddon Road this year. Mark Kennedy's Swindon side yet to win on the road. Difficult to watch this Mark Kennedy demise, to be honest. But I'm going to go for draw. I'm going to go Cheltenham 1, Swindon Town 1.
Doncaster Rovers versus Crewe at Alexandra. Obviously, this was a playoff semi-final fixture last season, so there's a little bit of needle added into this one. Doncaster have recently bounced back after a bit of an iffy run of form. They've won their last 2 matches and are technically joint top of the league at the moment, but they do have 4 less goal difference than Wolves, who are obviously top at this moment in time. Compared to Crewe, they've had a positive start to the season. They've won 4 of their last 5 despite a really shaky opening couple of games in the season. Not been many goals in their matches. There's been 27 though in Doncaster's games so far this season. I'm going to back Grant McCann's side for a 3-1 win. Let's see if Jake agrees.
Doncaster versus Crewe in a repeat of last year's playoff semi-final, in which I was attendance for that unbelievable Crewe comeback. Doncaster, though, absolutely flying at the moment. Dismantled Grimsby at Blundell Park on Saturday afternoon. 2 wins back-to-back now for Grant McKenn's men into the top 4, and they will be firmly looking at those top 3 places. Crewe not had a fantastic start to the season, not quite as where they were towards the back end of last season. Still, though, in the mix for the playoffs. I'm going to go Doncaster 2, Crewe Alex 1.
With Fleetwood Town versus Colchester United being postponed, I believe, due to international call-ups. Before we do go any further with today's video, don't forget to drop a like on there for me and subscribe to the channel as well if you are new. Can we try and hit 100 likes on today's video? That would be massively appreciated. And don't forget to get your thoughts in down in the comment section down below. How do you think your team will get on this weekend? Let's move on then to Gillingham FC versus Accrington Stanley. Gillingham currently sat second in the table. They have lost their last 2 matches, but they have still got the joint most amount of points in the division so far, compared to Accrington, who've been shocking for the large part this season. Yes, they managed to just about get past Morecambe at home last week, but I can't see them getting anything out of this game. I think it'll be a very comfortable, straightforward 2-0 win for Mark Bonner's side. I always keep forgetting the Gillingham manager, but it definitely is at Mark Bonner. Let's see if Jake agrees.
From one side strong at home to another, Gillingham versus Accrington Stanley. The Jack Nolan derby, if you will. Gillingham strong at home, bar that blip against Grimsby in midweek. Accrington Stanley not massively great on the road. The worst record, using all 4 of their trips away from home this year. This literally can only go one way. Gillingham 3, Accrington Stanley 0. Jack Nolan to score.
Harrogate Town versus Newport County. I don't think this will be an amazing game for the neutral, to be honest with you. Harrogate currently sat down in 18th. They've won 2 out of their last 5, but they've only won 3 of their opening 10 matches so far this season. They've only scored 9, and they've also conceded at 16, so -7 goal difference isn't amazing to be only 10 games into the season. Compared to Newport, though, they sit up in 10th. They've won 2 of their last 5. They've won 5 and lost 5 in their opening 10. There's been 36 goals in their games so far this season, but I see them keeping a clean sheet in this one. I'm going 2-0 to Nelson Jardim's side. It's either Jardim Nelson or Nelson Jardim. I constantly get it wrong. One of the two. He's a very solid manager. I think with Kyle Hudlin up front, he's going to bag again. I'm going 2-0 to the visitors. Let's see if Jake agrees.
Harrogate hosting Newport County. Harrogate only won a couple at home. I believe that was against Bradford and Doncaster. Newport again 21st in the away rankings, only 3 points picked up on the road this year. I'm going to play a 0-0. I don't think either team is going to have enough quality to break the other side down. I think it'd be a better point for Harrogate, but 0-0.
MK Dons versus Port Vale. They're probably 2 teams you would have expected at the start of the season to be first and second come May, but right now it's certainly not looking that way, especially for MK Dons. But since Scott Lindsay has come in, they are slowly starting to turn things around as well, and I see them getting another 3 points in this game. Port Vale currently sit up in second. They are unbeaten in at least their last 5 matches. It seems to be very much win-draw, 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 but consistency like that will get you up there come the end of the season. The top of the table is very tight. There's only 4 points between 1st and 11th at this moment in time, so it's a league which could be blown wide open in the next couple of weeks. But I'm going to back Scott Lindsay's side for a 3-1 home win. Let's see if Jake agrees.
MK Dons and Port Vale, probably the 2 fancy teams for the title clash at Stadium MK on Saturday. Difficult. Scott Lindsay, obviously a very good manager, new to the role at MK Dons, but I think he will eventually come good. Port Vale, the 3rd best away team on the road, 10 points from 5 games, keeping that 2 points per game away from home, which is extremely impressive. I think Vale are hitting a bit of form at the moment, given a bit of a sticky start. I'm going to back Port Vale to win at Stadium MK. I'm going to go MK Dons 1, Port Vale 2.
Salford City versus Grimsby Town are two teams you wouldn't expect to do much this season, and as of right now they're not really doing much. Grimsby sit in 11th, Salford sit in 15th. Salford have only played the 9 games so far this season, and there's only been 15 goals in at them opening 9 games as well, so not really much between any of their matches. There's not been any batterings, there's not been any batterings the other way, if that does make sense. But Grimsby, there's been 30 goals in their games. They've won 3 of their last 4 matches. They've won 5 and lost 5. Again, like I say, 30 goals in their games so far this season. I'm going to back David Artell's side, though, for another 3 points. I know they traditionally do struggle away from home. I think they're going to get another 3 points on the road in this game. I'm going 2-1 to the away side. Let's see what Jake thinks.
Salford City against Grimsby next then. Obviously, arch rivals of my club, Lincoln City, are Grimsby Town. Saw them midweek. Wasn't overly enamoured with their performance. Salford, of course, coming into this off the back of that 1-0 win over AFC Wimbledon. It's at the Peninsula. I'm gonna stick with the home side. I'm gonna go Salford City 2, Grimsby Town 0.
And as Walsall FC versus Bromley FC has been postponed, the final game for us to go through and predict is Tranmere Rovers versus my team at Bradford City. Now, Tranmere have been a little bit inconsistent so far this season. They've only scored 5 goals as well all year. They haven't won in their last 5 matches. Bradford City are in town though, and we love giving teams a helping hand. We currently sit in 9th. We've only won 4 of our opening 10. We finally got back to winning ways after going 4 games without a win. We only picked up 2 points out of a possible 12 before Monday's win against Newport County. It wasn't an amazing performance, and again there has been 25 goals in our games so far this campaign. We are struggling a little bit defensively. We've got a lot of long-term injuries as well, but we've got Neil Byrne back, who was really good on Monday. I haven't been a big fan of him so far this season, but he did play pretty well, and obviously he is a former Tranmere Rovers player. I see it being a tight game. Normally when we go to Tranmere we play them on a Tuesday night. It's finished 2-1 in every fixture to either side. They beat us 2-1, then we beat them 2-1, and then they beat us 2-1 at last season, which saw Mark Hughes eventually lose his job. I think this one again will finish in a 2-1. I'm going to go, unfortunately, though, to Nigel Adkins' side. Fingers crossed for a bit of reverse psychology, but we've been shocking on the road so far this season, so I simply cannot predict us to have a win. And for the final time in today's video, let's see what Jake thinks about my team.
Tranmere against Bradford. I know this is your team, mate. Look, Tranmere, tough place to go, notoriously. Unbeaten at home this year. Yes, they've drawn 3 of their 4. You guys not travelling well either, only winning 1 of your first 5 on the road. Battle of 2 Lincoln City loanees, actually, Zach Bradshaw for Tranmere and Jay Ben coming off the really impressive performance on Monday night against Newport. I'm going to go down the middle. I'm going to go for 1 apiece. I think you'd be upset with that. But I think a good point on the road, given how strong Tranmere are at Prenton Park. Tranmere 1, Bradford City 1.
And there we go then. There are our Game Week 11 League 2 score predictions. Thank you all so much for tuning in. If you have enjoyed, make sure to drop a like on there for me and subscribe to the channel as well if you are new. Can we try and hit 100 likes on today's video? That would massively appreciated. And don't forget to get your thoughts in down in the comment section down below. How do you think your team will get on this weekend? Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon for another one.